when we talk about delegating tactical tasks or just tasks, period, maybe it's just a task you don't want to do. When you get to the point in your business where you really start to pinpoint time to decide, look, maybe this is something I would normally do, but I just don't want to do it anymore. Okay. I do that all the time. I have tasks that are probably CEO level tasks, but I have an operations manager that I've kicked that down to. Okay. In one business that I just have a GM that runs all of that. So that whole business, it's almost hands off for me. And what's important is, one, you keep your finger on the pulse with everything, but you can make decisions on how to reallocate certain things inside of your business. Okay. So there we come back to this, having that aligned focus on all of those tasks that you're currently doing right now. And actually, before I even talk about any of that, with a raise of hands, who did the time study? Who documented every 15 minutes for a week? You'll never figure this out if you don't do it. You'll never know this. You have to write down every 15 minutes what you're doing and capture that for a week. Capture it for 5 days. Like I said in the last training, people hate me for having to do this, but this will really allow you to figure out what all these things are. Fortune 500 CEOs do time studies every quarter. Okay, so don't think that you're exempt from doing them just because you're a small business. That's just an excuse not to do it. Okay, it's painful. But I do them every single quarter to find out where I can shave things off of my business, whether it's time, whether it's cash flow. I'm doing P&L management, so on and so forth. Okay, so very, very important that you do this. You will never know this. I'm not here to hold you accountable to do it. It's up to you to do it. But if you do it, you can find out these problematic areas that you should be outsourcing. Okay, very, very, very important. So that's directly reflected to that aligned focus, though, in your business. With this time study, guys, just stick with it. I know it's a bit painful to do it for a whole week, but if you stick with it and do it every 15 minutes while you're sitting in your desk working, you will find a lot of time where you just go, wow, what a waste. What a waste of my day. I literally just spun in circles all day and accomplished absolutely nothing. Okay. It's really important. So, and that's how you're going to get focus in your business, though. Okay. How can you focus in your business if you don't even know where your time is being allocated to? If you don't know where it's allocated to now, how can you reallocate it later? This is a foundation, right? This is a foundation to a lot of things, okay? If you have a good foundation built where you're handling the things that are more in a visionary role, and then you have all those other tasks that are just ankle biter tasks that are happening throughout the day that you have outsourced and reallocated to virtual assistants, somebody that's in the office, whatever the case may be. Everybody here is at a different life cycle. So if you're currently in an office space and you have 2 or 3 employees, look at that workload and make sure that, you're not working more than the rest of your team is working. Okay. And I see that stuff all the time. So that aligned focus is very important. Okay. And this all starts to come now to the synchronization of your business plan and your life plan. Okay. what is a business designed to do in the first place? Business is designed to support what? Your life plan. Okay. That's what you want. I mean, you want to be able to forecast the outcomes of your business quarterly, monthly, quarterly, yearly, and, midterm or short term, midterm, and long term. Okay. We talked about that on the individual calls. Okay. That all is a direct punch in to syncing those two things together. Okay. I know for me, I know what my business is producing. So I know come, August, I can uproot my entire family and we can go on a month-long vacation somewhere. Okay. Are you truly ever turned off? No, not really, but you can't just turn it off completely. But your business plan supports this lifestyle. Okay. I mean, I hate to use the word employee, but you are an employee of your own business, right? I mean, that's what we are. We're just self-employed. Okay. But we run a business to live a certain lifestyle. When you work downtown at someplace downtown, it's the same thing, only it's a predictable lifestyle. It's not going to change, most likely. You might get a raise this year, but it's not going to be that much. Where here, raises can be incrementally huge, because you can go from a $100,000 business, a six-figure business, to $1 million business in 1 year. That's a lot different than working downtown. Okay. And now that supports your life plan. Okay. Or I like to call it the bucket list, right? I have a bucket list of things that I like to check off, things that I want to do in my life. And my business supports that because it costs money to do all that stuff. Okay. So syncing these things together all is a direct reflection of delegating the right tasks to free up time for you to be the visionary of your company. Sync these two things up. All right. And you have to do this time study right here to identify what those things are. Okay. And it doesn't just always have to be just tactical tasks, just delegating tasks, period. Okay. Because as business owners, what do we like to do? Hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it. Right. So I'm the only one that can do that. No, you're not. You're really not. Okay. Somebody else could do that. Document. Okay. This is where documentation is so important. Okay. That aligned focus. Now you have somebody doing a job. They're focused on that job. They know exactly what they need to do. It's documented. And if for whatever reason they leave your company, it's documented. You hire somebody else, give them the Google Doc of their job description, and they're off to work. And I see companies all the time making that mistake. They'll have a chief, a COO that they hired 15 years ago. The position itself is not documented at all. He gets a better job somewhere else. Boom, he's out. The job's not documented. They hire somebody else. There's no processes, procedures, none of that documented. Okay. So we want to make sure that all that's documented. Okay. That's focusing your business. Okay. And again, I'm not going to ask you guys to send me your time study and review it and do all that kind of stuff. I don't do that. I'm a strategist, and I don't hold people accountable. I just tell them what can fix these problems. You have to make these fixes. And maybe for some of you, it's not even a problem. I don't know. I would say, depending on at what point in the life cycle you are right now, say you're making right now, this is like a $50,000 or $60,000 a year small business, you can pretty much do all this. Okay. A lot of businesses are doing most of the work themselves, up to $1 million. That's tough, but I know business owners that do it. But you better be willing to leverage all those hours per week. You're going to work. And the simple fact is when you could be paying, 4 or 5 people at $8 an hour to take a lot of that load off of you throughout the month. I mean, why wouldn't you want to do that? It just doesn't even make any sense that you wouldn't want to do that. Okay. Anyway, so do this. Take the time to do it. All right. You'll learn a lot about yourself in that process. Okay. And learning about yourself, it'll change some of your habits, because we all have them. We all have habits. So, there again, I'm not going to babysit you on this, but I definitely want you to do it for sure. Okay.